Welcome to your daily focus for June the 26th, 2018. Look at this. We get the Eight of Swords. We get the Eight of Swords fly out of the deck. Okay, so my name is Tilly. This is Tarot with Tilly. And before we even get into this energy, I want to take a moment to truly thank you from the bottom of my heart for your love, for your support, for the beautiful energy you send my way each and every day. Thank you truly. Thank you so much. Now, let's get to the Eight of Swords just jumping out. Now, we know that Mars is going retrograde today. And when Mars goes retrograde, you know, the easiest advice to give for that is to think before we act. Whether it is in our finances, in our jobs, in our relationships, in where we want to go. Maybe it's a new spiritual practice we're looking at, or continuing with the same. We want to think about it. We want to understand it. So this is really our perceptions and not being able to see, being blinded in some way or wearing blinders and not really seeing options, only seeing perhaps the limitations or feeling the limitations. So this could also be, you know, over, I think it was like almost 3 weeks ago now, where we really had to work on ridding ourselves of self-doubt and really becoming aware of our self-doubt. And when we were talking to ourselves, you know, that internal conversation that we're constantly having. I'm always late. You will be always late if you continually say, I'm always late. And so when something doesn't go right, we go, oh, well, I was late. You know, had I been on time? And we have that fallback. We have that excuse because we've convinced ourselves that we're always late. But where do we feel like we can't step forward? Where do we feel like we can't create something or invent something or move into situations or opportunities or relationships? Where do we stop ourselves? Because with the Eight of Swords, it's getting a new perspective on things, a new perception. So here we are bound, we are blindfolded, and we are surrounded by swords. And that castle that we want to get to so badly, our dream, our goal, our vision of our tomorrow and who we're becoming, we feel limited. We don't even know it's there. We don't even know how close we are to it. Now, our feet aren't bound. So even though we may feel limited or in a corner or this is the way I am kind of energy, this card says, no, you have choices to make. There's always a choice. There's always a plan B. So let's move around a little bit. Let's kick our feet out a little bit. Now, chances are you're going to nick your foot on one of those swords and you're going to cut yourself, but you're going to know it's a sword. And once you know it's a sword, you know you can cut those ropes that bound your hands behind your back. And once you cut those ropes, you can lift the blindfold. And you're going to look around you. And the first thing you're going to notice is that the swords aren't even in that deep. That we can easily change our reaction to things, our behavior to things, our thought processes to things. We're going to also realize that there were no swords behind us ever. And we're going to see how obtainable, how tangible our dream, our goal, our desires are. So what a beautiful Mars retrograde card to have. Because we're going to think it through. We're going to think, what can I do? Okay, my hands are bound. I'm blindfolded. I can't see, but I can move a little bit. I can kick my feet out. So where are you not allowing yourself to see yourself moving forward? Maybe it's asking somebody out for the first time. Maybe it's sharing your heart with somebody. Maybe it's stepping up to the plate and doing something. Maybe it's completing something. And sometimes with this card, it brings about that we need an inner healing. That we need to say that we've got this, that we can manage it, that we can do it, that it doesn't matter if my hands are bound and I'm blindfolded. Somewhere I can sense my dream, the possibility of my tomorrow. And so I'm going to kick out a little bit. I'm going to see what happens. I'm going to believe in myself. So let's put that card back in, and we'll give the cards a fast shuffle. And we'll cut them and see what the energy is that surrounds us and how to use the energy in a positive light. Well, we have the Ten of Pentacles. This is our yes card. What do you desire? What do you want? So, I mean, this is very beautiful energy because this is the yes card. We are feeling like we can do it. We can, you know, so now we're bound, we're blindfolded, but we know that somehow there's a way to escape an old behavior, an old habit, an old way of doing or being. That we can actually step forward into a goal, a dream, a desire. The moon, we have a full moon coming. And this is where we want to feel the liberation. This is where we want to feel the freedom. This is where we want to kind of let out our wild side and just let the wind blow through our hair. But this card also asks us to strip away the false truths we've been telling ourselves. Or where we have allowed other people's opinions guide our responses, instead of what we truly feel, what we value, what our morals deem. And yes, we have to compromise, we have to bend in life in order to coexist. But we don't have to go against our true nature, our wants, our needs, our desires. And when we bend a little bit too far in one area, we kind of lose ourselves a little bit. And of course we can't feel the freedom, the liberation, if we are anchoring ourselves to something that doesn't really resound with us. And this might be something really hard for us to do, but it's going inside and having that conversation seemingly with ourselves. We're not going to want to today. We want to kick the dirt and tell ourselves we can't because of this, that, and the other thing. Well, if they didn't do this, then I wouldn't have to do that, and I could go forward. Putting the blame on the external. And at some point we have to say, but I have allowed that to this point. So how do I change it so that it's not allowed? Because it doesn't raise my vibration. It doesn't raise my light. And it limits me because I allow it to limit me. And the Four of Swords. Four of Swords is all about unplugging again, rest, recuperation. This is the warrior coming off the battlefield. So imagine yourself as a warrior on the battlefield, sleeping with one eye open. The smallest sound brings you to full alertness. You can never settle down. You can never rest. You can never breathe. You're not eating properly. You're not sleeping properly. You're fatigued. You're tired. And yet you still have to remain on the alert. And then you come back to home, to your castle. And you take off your armor, you hang up your weapons, and you lay down to rest, recuperate. And that's what this card is asking you to do. Maybe take things in moderation. Maybe unplugging, maybe taking a step back from that argument or that conflict or that situation in your life. And turn healing power on yourself. And as you start to rest, when you start to unplug, when you start to allow that recuperation to begin, You start to pick up on the things that you weren't hearing before. It was the card that fell out. I was going to go pick it up. You start to hear the birds singing in the trees again. You start to hear the kids playing in the park again. You understand that you are safe. And now is a time to plan ahead, plan for the future, move forward. Also today, in numerology, is a 7 energy. So it's the Chariot. It's pulling back on those reins. It's not allowing those different forces. And with a full moon, it really is opposing forces. It's the moon across the sky, the moon and the sun across the sky from each other. So it's finding the balance. It's finding the middle ground. And feeling grounded. We'll get an affirmation card. Well, we had 2 fly out. We had the 3 of Earth. Oh, look at this. And somebody said the other day, if I get patience one more time, I'm so sorry. But yes, patience. Once again, the Chariot, holding those reins back, pulling back. There's a patience that has to be done here. There's a restoration period that needs to be accomplished. There is a soul seeking, a truth seeking that needs to be accomplished before we can truly move forward. So, 3 of Earth was first. Let's get through these pretty fast here if we can. 3 of Earth is right to the page. Teamwork, building on solid foundations, group efforts, dedicated collaboration. What I am building is grounded in a solid foundation, so I know I can trust, and it will not slip away suddenly. I am joined by others in coordinated efforts to bring forth what we have chosen to co-create. The architecture of my dreams is becoming tangible, taking shape before me. And I share my joy and pride with my partners and supporters, teachers and students. We are all learning, growing, and building together. So, and you know I can trust that it will not slip away suddenly. Because so many of us are like, oh man, I think I'm too late already. No, you're not. You're at the exact right time. So take your time. Be like the Chariot and pull back on those reins and understand how you're going to use those opposing forces. Because in the Chariot card, you have the black horse and the light horse, the white horse, right? Dark and light. And how to bring those forces together. And how to make them work together. And so we are looking at the things that are around us and how to make things work so that we can go forward. How we can bring in balance. And where we have bent too far in relationships or situations, we can bring it back in now. We can understand where we've given too much of ourselves. Where we don't get the respect or the support or the love. The other one is patience. So let's go to patience. This card reminds me that with patience will bring me into recognition of and alignment to my purpose. All my needs are met even though I may not see it yet on the outer visible world. The angels are looking out for me. Moderation in all things is required right now. So let's not be going to the extreme here. Even though we feel like we can do it all. With the Yes card, we're feeling confident. We're feeling alive. We're feeling like we can do this. And yet the energy is asking us to pull back. To think it through. As the carpenters say, measure twice, cut once. So we want to make the right choice. And with Mars going retrograde on us, we're going to be going over some of the things that we may have stepped into a little too quickly without much thought, without much planning. We'll get an animal card. Well, they didn't want to cut. Keep breathing, says the dolphin. Keep breathing. And we opened right up to that one. Okay, journal, water, energy shift, and breathing. Focusing on the act of breathing clears the mind of all daily distractions and clears our energy, enabling us to better connect with the spirit within. Dolphin knows that you have been caught off guard, and she wants to remind you that stressful situations induce panic, which causes continued panic and stress. Try to meditate, enroll in a yoga class, participate in some form of exercise, even if it's just for 10 minutes a day. Dolphin feels that a water-based exercise will work best for you. Exercise works similar to meditating, but also serves as an outlet of sorts. Release your sadness by crying. We all need a release. Get a makeover, an ego boost by getting your hair or nails done. New clothes may help you catch your breath and enjoy the moment. Don't grab the rose-colored glasses, but think positively about something. Look within yourself to see what needs to be changed and take action. More times than not, it's because you simply stopped loving yourself. Remember that there is nothing that you cannot be, nothing you cannot do, nothing that you cannot have. Clear the energy that is stifling you. Breathing is an intricate part of your system, body, mind, and spirit. Take some time for yourself and spend it by the water. Take out a journal and write while experiencing the sea air. If you can't get away, soak in a bathtub, add some sea salts, or purchase a desktop fountain or CD that invokes the feeling of being by water. Or heck, we could just Google it or type it into the YouTube search bar, couldn't we? And get some relaxing, soft sounds. And just pay attention to your breathing, just in and out. And feel that energizing, beautiful white light that surrounds you as you inhale. And let go of the tension. Feel the tension leaving your body on the exhales. And do that for a couple of minutes. And then journal. And maybe it's things that you want to, we're in full moon energy, so I would write things down that we want to put in the past, close the door on. And we always think of certain things like we're going to clean out our closets and stuff, but it could be that we are going to leave behind self-doubt. We are going to leave behind people taking advantage of us. We are going to leave behind and fill in the blank for yourself. Because you can let go of those things during full moons. You can reinvent yourself. So, today, take it slow, take it steady, have those internal talks with yourself, journal, get by water if you can, or at least put on some soothing music, some soothing nature sounds, waterfalls in the background, and let yourself escape into rest and restoration for at least a few minutes. And you will see the way forward. You will understand that a little bit of kicking of our feet, and we'll find exactly the answer of how to move forward and cut away what has been limiting us, preventing us. Until we meet again, remember, I do love you.